Welcome back to the Black Jersey, guys. It's your boy Max hosting the channel, and this evening's topic is a bit more of a serious topic. New Zealand Rugby has sadly had a bit of a gradual decline over the last few years, so I want to bring up some topics about how we can bring in some new energy to our national sport and how we can really make this thing great again. So if you're really interested about how we can fix New Zealand Rugby, let's hop right into it, guys. So my first point is centered around rugby versus basketball. A lot of parents nowadays are perceiving that basketball is a safer sport. I'm not too sure about that though. In basketball, you do have to wear mouth guards just like in rugby, and there are quite a lot of injuries in basketball too because of the fact that you're jumping so much and there's so many big people getting in your way when you're going for the dunk. So also there's the factor that the money at the professional side isn't as good, because the thing is, basketball players, they don't have as much of a long career either. Basketball players do tend to retire in their late 30s, early 40s, while rugby players seem to retire at their early 30s, mid 30s. So the playing career at professional level isn't absolutely massive. Ever since 2013, when Steven Adams was first drafted to the NBA, New Zealanders have had much more interest in basketball, and so a lot of parents have been buying their kids hoops so they can practice at home and getting them a ball too, because the perception is with basketball you're easy as, you can just train at home and get better that way. But what parents aren't actually noticing is this brand called Bro Ball. It's kind of a reflective ball, so when you hit it against the wall, it comes back to you, so you can practice your passing and your catching and your ball handling far easier with this brand. I might have to get a ball for myself, as a matter of fact. So this whole training at home thing kind of debunked, if you ask me. As well as that, you can always have the parents pass with the kids. If mum or dad's a really good coach, they can help you out some drills like your scrum. You don't always have to have your teammates there to practice your scrummaging or your jackling or anything like that. It's all just a matter of keeping yourself fit, just like with basketball. And regardless of what sport you're playing, to be honest, you can train with yourself to some degree. Another point I want to make about how we can fix New Zealand Rugby is something that I've thought about for a long time, because over the last few years, overseas-born players such as Nemani Nadolo, Ben Volavola, Kazuki Himeno, and Fumiaki Tanaka have absolutely been crowd favourites. Another one that comes to mind is Michael Alaalatoa. What a beast, what an inspirational captain for Samoa. Bringing in more overseas superstars is really good for ratings for the business, because when players are coming here on sabbatical, such as the likes of a Joe Marchant for the Blues, the English people will be wanting to watch their favourite player as he's down under here in New Zealand, seeing how he improves his game and what he's going to do for when he's back at his old club. It's really good to have players like Pablo Matera signing for the Crusaders ahead of the 2022 Super Rugby season, because he's going to attract a lot of Argentinian audience members as they absolutely adore their amazing captain. My third point for this video, guys, is I want New Zealand Rugby to just stop messing around with Australia. I've said it in a previous video, I do believe Super Rugby needs to be abolished. When you're a business, you do have a lot of expenses to pay, and all of your revenue isn't just instant profit because of these expenses. In the past, all this travel to Argentina, Japan, South Africa has been ridiculous, and to top it all off, there's also the neighbours from Australia coming here and vice versa, and all this travel's just not sustainable, and if rugby in New Zealand continues to decline, it could possibly put us under. I did mention in a previous video too about playing the Pacific Islands international teams far more often, as there's potential for them to grow, but the thing is, Australia is a tier 1 nation suffering from similar problems to us, and we can't bear the brunt of theirs either, because as I'm talking about in this video to you guys, I do think, guys, that we have our own problems to sort out, and Australia's got to get to the core of those themselves without constantly playing the All Blacks. Maybe if Australia's to do something like Super Rugby AU more often, the viewers are going to come. Look here, look at the attendance for the Super Rugby AU final. It's a massive crowd, and the crowds for Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, oh man, they were just shocking in comparison to this, now weren't they? I think as well that if there's more travelling around your own country, all the smaller towns like maybe Taupō, Invercargill, Hawke's Bay where I'm from, all these kids from these small towns can actually get to see their idols. How amazing would that be for the next generation? This one here, this point is another message for the parents too. There's a bit of a perception about rugby that it's far too hard on your body and it's far too dangerous for your kids. Well, parents, I've got a few things to say to you. Rugby, when you're at high school and primary school here in New Zealand, it's all divided into weight categories. So if you're really worried about your young Year 7 kid getting smashed by some Year 9 boys or girls, there's nothing to worry about because this young kid can play in a division with kids that are the same size as him, so there's nothing to be concerned about when you're coming against fully grown Year 9s because they're not going to be playing with your kid. As well as that, I think Bill Beaumont is a fantastic chairman of World Rugby. In 2016, he made the bill where any contacts to the head with force, barring mitigating factors, I've got them on the screen here for you to see, is a red card. This rule is really great, I believe, because it's bringing far more awareness to player welfare. I myself had to hang up my boots at 17, but if it weren't for all this great medical advice we're receiving today, and because of this bill, I probably would have just got carried on, and I would have kept stammering just like how I am now. Totally accidental, just prove my point exactly there. And the thing is, look at how much worse I could have been if it wasn't for this rule and the awareness it's raised for head injuries. Another thing that is really good about this bill is it's going to disincentivize poor behaviour and high tackling long term. Because all these thugs on the other team, they're not going to want to get a red card now, are they? Their team's going to give it to them. They're not going to be very popular amongst their teammates. So all this kind of bad behaviour is going to be lessened and the sport's going to become more safe over time. After seeing all these pro athletes and pro coaches taking it so seriously, the amateur scene is starting to adopt these policies far more and become far more serious about head injuries. So sure, your kid's going to have a broken finger, he's going to have a couple scratches, whatever. As long as his head's okay, or her head's okay, that's what matters. Rugby's great for the development of your kids too, because it's a 15-man game. Basketball's only a 5-man game, so there's far less communication. Same with football, it's so divided into packs. There's the strikers at the front, the midfielders, then the defenders, and finally the goalie. In rugby, there's more players, there's far more communication needed. This is so great for the development of your child because it's going to bring more strategic and critical thinking to your child, and it's also going to bring your child into far more friend groups. It's a great social sport and a great cognitive sport for any child, this game of rugby. It's just perfect for your child to play. My sixth point for the video is there aren't a lot of superstars coming back for the grassroots rugby. I've really liked over the last few years having former All Blacks coming back to their hometown teams. Dan Carter coming back for his last ever rugby game for his amateur club in Southbridge. That's awesome. How good is it for the local scene? Kieran Reid coming back from his Japan stint to play for Counties Manukau. Sekope Kepu coming from Australia playing for Counties Manukau. Dominic Bird after all these years overseas coming back to Wellington. It's so good for the local scene, and if we can have all these superstars like current All Blacks playing a bit more amateur rugby at the start of the season, it would be so good for crowd. It would get so many more people playing because they want to play with the All Blacks and the Hurricanes and the Crusaders. It would be great for the bars at the local clubs too. Far more things going on, a lot more of a party vibe. Bringing all these great superstars to their grassroots is really humbling for them too, because it can remind them of where they come from, and it can really encourage these superstar athletes to keep going, keep training, keep playing as hard as they can. And it's so good for everyone to just connect once in a while. It strengthens the game so much more. My last point of this video is in regards to the All Blacks head coach Ian Foster. Before I talk about his coaching record, I just want to say that Fozzie seems like a lovely guy, but I think that is possibly part of the problem. You see, when you're a coach, you do have to have a bit of a mean streak to fire up your players before the game, because rugby is a contact sport and you can't just go out there and hug everyone. You got to be able to tackle, you got to be able to run the ball hard. And Fozzie, because he seems like such a nice person, I don't think is the kind of guy that's going to rock the team up when they're like 10 points down or something after 20 minutes. Whereas the likes of a Michael Cheika, a Mario Ledesma, and Eddie Jones, a Warren Gatland is always going to have that mindset whenever the time for it is needed. Ian Foster's win percentage is not very good in comparison to his predecessors either. Steve Hansen, in his first year as the All Blacks head coach, had a win percentage above 90. Fozzie, in his first year as the All Blacks head coach, had a win percentage of 50. All of the past All Blacks coaches from this century have had final win percentages across their coaching career as All Blacks coach of 80 or above. Fozzie's is not even in the 70s, so it's not looking good already. There's also the fact that we could possibly lose the Bledisloe Cup this year for the first time in 19 years. Australia is actually looking okay at international level, and so I wouldn't be happy to see that at all. The thing is about Fozzie as well, I was very skeptical of him as the head coach from the start, because he's never won a trophy as a head coach outside of his time as the All Blacks coach. His win percentage with the Chiefs was 50%. He was their head coach for 7 years, and they made the playoffs under Fozzie 3 times. That's just not good enough. He's never coached another international team, for example. He went from Chiefs coach to the All Blacks assistant. Now we're suddenly in the top flight of rugby. Razor Robinson, on the other hand, has won about 10 trophies as a head coach. Think of the experience of Warren Gatland. If Warren Gatland hadn't signed on to coach the Lions, I absolutely would have made him the All Blacks coach. Jamie Joseph was the best candidate in my opinion, since Gatland was already unavailable, but Jamie Joseph re-signed with Japan. New Zealand Rugby didn't even try and contact Dave Rennie. By the time they hit him up, he'd already accepted a job for the Wallabies. Fozzie, I don't think sorry to him is the man going forward. I'm trying not to hurt feelings, whatever, but I don't think he's the best man for the job. I back Scott Robertson fully, because out of all the people currently available, he is your best man going forward. He's re-signed for the Crusaders till 2024 as well, so you could easily just promote him from his current position to a new one. You could bring Jason Ryan, his assistant coach, in as well as the scrum coach. The fact that Fozzie has got his current coaching set up too has kind of devalued our club scene too. John Plumtree was doing fantastic things with the Hurricanes. Fingers crossed we can implement some of these things going forward. Fingers crossed we can really regenerate some life into our national sport, and fingers crossed the All Blacks finish this season unbeaten. I'm such a proud All Black supporter. Go the All Blacks, subscribe to my channel, like this video, check out the other links in the description, and I'll talk to you again later guys. See ya.